So a few weeks ago, I found these old videos that my uncle had filmed when I was a kid. And those were like old tapes that my uncle had filmed in Christmas Day. Those were such cool videos to see, like to see all my family together, to see myself being like 2 or 3 years old, like kind of like being shy. I don't know, just doing random things, and my mom was there and my grandparents were there. Anyways, this is just a short example I recorded with my phone when I had access to the tapes. The tapes are back home in Barcelona, but there's much more footage of that day, like making the lunch, like everyone interacting with each other. And one of the things that got my attention was the fact that I heard my voice for the first time. And when I say for the first time, I mean me at the age of between 2 and 4 years old. The thing is, like, my parents had photo cameras and my mom and my dad loved to take pictures, but they never really had like a camcorder. This is beginning of the 90s, and not everyone had like a video camera. Not everyone had access to one or cared to have one. And you had to be a little bit of a nerd. You had to like video. So just one quick pause before I continue. I just want to say that I know that my first videos, they've been in Spanish, and that's how I started my channel. And this is the first video I do in English. As you can see, I'm still experimenting on my own YouTube channel. I hope everyone is fine with it. And also I'll make sure the subtitles are available if someone doesn't really understand English. So I'll make sure I can put Spanish subtitles. So my parents didn't have a camcorder, therefore I never really had footage of myself as a kid. Maybe some of you had plenty of videos, but in my case I didn't, so for me it was like shocking. And I hear my own voice talking, being like a little kid, 2, 3 years old, whatever I was, being shy and whatnot. So watching these videos, I got this strange feeling of like nostalgia. I kind of felt like a lot of emotions just because in that video there were like a lot of people, a lot of members of my family, including the ones that they're not with us anymore. And just being able to see them just moving, just acting, talking, smiling, laughing, it was wow. It was like, wow, I got emotional, right? Because you're like seeing that, and that's probably the only footage we have of for example, my grandparents or their friends that they're not with us anymore. And this whole combination of the video, the people moving, the people laughing, the audio, all the combination, it reminded me of almost being there. I had this feeling of I was just there and I could remember all this. So I've started talking about this because lately I've been thinking about the reasons why I enjoy so much taking photos, capturing video. I enjoy it so much that that's my career. And I have realized that capturing video and photo is nothing else but time traveling. And let me explain by asking you a question. Why do you film or take a photo? Every time I try to answer this question, I get the same answer. And that is to like capture something that happened in a certain moment in time, so later I can revive it. Try and capture emotions, feelings, even visuals. By capturing, I will be able to access them in the future. And that's the main reason I do it. I'm just creating something to be able to go back in time, anticipating a travel back in time, right? So yes, when we're watching an old video, we are basically remembering feelings and emotions that happened back at the time that we filmed it. So basically we immerse ourselves in past lived moments to feel the same emotions. Because feelings and emotions is what makes us human. And without them, we could very well be a tree or a rock. So those are the most important things that we have that differentiate us. So that is my answer to why I really love capturing video and photo. Basically, I'm capturing emotions and feelings. And basically, I'm making sure, even if it's for me or for someone else, someone in the future will be able to rewatch that piece of content, whether it's video or photo, and feel something. So at the end of the day, my job, what I do, is to make sure we keep being humans and we keep having emotions and feelings. And sounds kind of crazy, but I think that's what it is. Okay, now think about an old photo of you. Maybe something with your grandparents or with your mom, with your dad, or maybe a summer with your siblings, or some vacation that you did somewhere with your friends. Just think about it for a second. Just get that mental image right now. you're smiling, that's great. That's because you're remembering those feelings and emotions that that image evoked. And that's exactly the purpose of taking a photo or a video. Now, of course, the photos and videos that you are in them or that you capture yourself are the ones that you feel a strongest connection, and that's normal because you have lived those moments. But there are also other photos that they're not connected to you directly, that you haven't taken, that you can actually feel very connected with, that you can actually feel some emotion or a lot of emotion when you look at them. And that's because us humans, we are empathetic. We empathize and we relate to other people's emotions, problems, and success even. We like to put ourselves in other people's skins and also be able to feel like them. So as you know, I create videos for a living. I also love photography, but for some reason I decided that I like better video. So I was thinking about this and I was trying to figure out, why did I pick moving images, video, versus photo? So let me start with analyzing photography first. Why do we take photos? So photography allows you to capture a fraction of a second, a very still and unique moment in time. Just that one moment and that's it. It can be a very powerful moment, like filled with again, feelings and emotions and something very strong that can make you evoke whatever emotion out of you. It can be candid or beautiful, or it can be very dramatic, it can be very dark, or it can be also very, very, very powerful. Either way, we're only capturing this tiny one fraction of a moment. And photography allows us also to travel in time, as we said, but only allow you to travel in time in a very specific and tiny visual moment. It's only visual. It's one layer, just one image. Okay, now let's talk about video. Let's go back to the video that I showed you at the beginning. The first thing I see is, of course, movement. I can see how I used to move. I can see what my parents' face expressions were there. Maybe they have changed. I can also see how my grandparents, that they're not around anymore, moved and walked, and they smiled and laughed. And I think that's a huge layer. I can actually see somehow their emotions, people show their emotions with their face expressions, with their movements, right? With their eyes. I can see their eyes. So to me, that's fascinating, being able to see all these emotions. A photography would not show me that, these emotions, this movement. So the first difference between video and audio was movement. The second one, it's a huge one, and that's audio, of course. When I watch those tapes and I'm able to hear the voices of everyone, that's what is just crazier to me. That's what brings me more emotion. As I said, before watching these tapes, I've never heard my own voice as a kid. So I was just looking at it and I realized this is the first time I heard my own voice as a kid, being 2, 3, 4 years old. And I was fascinated. Of course, that's what I do for a living. I capture video. And I was like, wow, I'm so happy my uncle actually got to capture this video, right? And I'm able also to listen to my parents' voice, to listen to my grandparents' voice when they were younger and still alive. And this is what it is. When we're filming, we're creating a perfect time machine. We're time traveling. Okay, let me pause for a second, because now you might be thinking, okay, Mauri, this is great. I know video has movement and audio, and I know that photo is one still image. What are you trying to tell me here? My point is that every time you record a video, you're creating a time capsule for your future self, or for your future kids, or maybe for your friends, or for someone in the future. That's my point. You are just sending emotions to the future. And the next time you take a photo or a video, you might not realizing how many feelings and emotions are you actually encapsulating and actually sending them to the future. And one day, maybe when you are older, you'll see that one video or that one photo, and then all these feelings and emotions will come to you, and that will be such a beautiful moment. And that is also why I realized why I love so much time traveling films. It's actually one of my favorite genres, believe it or not. As a kid, my favorite film was always Back to the Future, but now sure, it looks a little bit cheesy if you rewatch it, but it was my favorite film as a kid. I just love the fact of being able to travel in time. I love all the films that they are related to time traveling. Like I love Premiere, I love Interstellar, I love Predestination, that by the way, if you haven't watched it, this movie is gonna like, yeah, just, I totally recommend you to watch this film and you'll be like, what the I've just seen. Or even this romantic drama called Time Traveler's Wife. I love that film because that is basically what I constantly do, what I do for a living. I'm constantly creating content to be able to time travel later, to be able to, in the future, be able to go and revisit it. Even this video I'm creating right now, this is gonna be a perfect moment that I'm capturing for myself, of course. In the future, I'll be able to watch this video and maybe in 20 years from now, if YouTube's still out, I'll be laughing, I'll be loving it. I'll be remembering this very moment, September 2021, the year of COVID, when I was filming videos on YouTube. That's crazy. So here is an exercise that I want you to do next time you capture content. Everyone captures content, so here there's no excuse. And I'm not talking about capturing content with a fancy camera or anything like that. We are constantly capturing moments and creating content with our phones, taking photos and videos. So next time you take a video or a photo, just try and think how that video will be perceived in the future. What kind of emotions will you be getting or receiving? That actually helps me a lot when I'm taking photos and videos. To just think, that's a great moment, I need to capture it, because in the future I'll be able to watch this and remember just the way it was. So now when I'm having fun or I'm with my friends, I actually changed a little bit the way I capture content. I do what my uncle used to do. My uncle, back in the day, in the mid-90s, there was no Instagram or TikTok. There was no people creating content to put it in a platform, to be edited or to do whatever. They would just be filming just to film, just to record those moments and memories and be able to watch them in the future, right? So now every time I take my phone out, I just film what's happening. Like my uncle used to do, exactly the same. He would just take the camera and go out around the house. Hey, what are you doing? And then they're like, oh, I'm cooking, whatever. It's just like natural interaction. There's nothing staged, right? So when I take my phone now, I just record longer takes and I just let them roll. Because I know later in the future, if I record a 5-second video, that won't be enough. I need to be able to record the people, how do they move, how do they talk. So that's how I'll be able to remember them, and all these feelings and emotions, probably good ones, they will come back to me. And I want to give you 2 little tips for when you're recording just random content with your friends. Do not film only in vertical mode. Try and film horizontal, 16:9. The reason why is like these videos in like 5-10 years, you won't watch them in your phone. You'll probably have put them on TV or on your computer if you have saved them, and you will watch them in a wide screen. Just remember this and put your phone sideways and just record like that. Because the widescreen aspect ratio is so much better when it comes to filming, and of course when it comes to like watching those videos back again. And the second tip regarding video is that it doesn't matter how you film a video if you don't save them and store them properly. In my case, I'm a little bit obsessed with that, and I save everything in hard drives. And I have so many hard drives of footage on every single year, but make sure you save them in a safe place, that they don't get erased, that they don't get damaged. Or for example, you can use a cloud service, like put them in Google Drive or something like that. And when it comes to photos, the same thing. Make sure you store them in a hard drives or in a cloud. Photos are smaller file size, so it's just easier. But just make sure you save them, because otherwise, if you lose all these photos, like all these memories are gone. And I'm telling you, in like 10, 20 years from now, these photos will be a treasure for you. You should keep them. And the other thing that is very important when it comes to photography, that to me, it makes also a difference versus video, is the fact that you're able to print them. You are able to have a hard copy of your photos. You cannot do that in video. See, this is one aspect that I think that photography is so much better. The fact that you can actually have a hard copy of your photo. Just print some photos from time to time. People has forgotten about printing. Everyone keeps taking photos and photos on their iPhones and their phones and their cameras, and just like they disappear. Some people, I lost a hard drive once and I lost so many photos because I didn't print them. But what I do and I recommend you to do is once a year, you just go through your photos and select 10, 20, 50, 100, the ones that you like the most, and print them. Print them. Have like a stack of photos that you can label by year. And then you can always go back and revisit them. Just print your best moments. And these photos, they don't have to be nice photos that I've taken with my nice camera and lenses and everything. Sometimes there's like random blurry photos I took with my iPhone. But that moment meant something to me that I wanted to have it printed, right? And also when you print them, you can also like put them up and like have them displaying somewhere in your house. So remember printing is important. So this is today's video. I just wanted to talk about this. I've actually been thinking about it quite a while, and I thought it'd be an interesting topic to talk about, the importance of like that we are all time travelers, that we're constantly capturing moments so in the future we can enjoy them. So I want to ask you one thing. Is there any photo or video that especially makes you feel something very strong? Maybe it's love, or maybe it's like something else, whatever it is. If that's the case, just please put it in the comments. Just let me know what it is. I'm just curious to know. And also, if you have any good recommendation of a time traveling film, please put it in the comments too. I would say I've watched the best time traveling films because I'm a little bit of a nerd on that. But if you have any other example or any movie that you really enjoyed about time traveling, please put it in the comments below. And if you enjoyed this video, please hit the like button. It actually helps me a lot, so my video gets pushed on YouTube and more people can see it. And if you're not subscribed, just hit subscribe if you like the content, and I'll see you guys soon.
Hey Doc, we better back up. We don't have enough road to get up to 88.
Roads? Where we're going, we don't need roads.